When I started counting my macros, everything changed for my weight loss journey. I lost 26 pounds over the course of 4 months by eating better and trying to track my calories and trying to eat what I thought was good and work out. But then I learned about tracking macros, and over the course of less than 3 months, I lost over 46 pounds. And not only is it easier to stay on program, but I'm able to consistently make progress because I know what I have to do to accomplish my goals. In this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to track your macros, what I'm doing for my meals. I'm going to show you tools and tips and tricks that I use to stay consistent, and we're going to do it all in under 10 minutes. What have you tried to lose weight? Put it down in the comments, because I've been vegan, I've tried carnivore, I've tried calorie counting, and nothing has worked quite like tracking macros. Now, what are macros? Macros are short for macronutrients. Macros, the three main macros that we all focus on is protein, carbs, and fats. Now, these are going to be found on the back of a food label, and you will be able to find out on any food with a label exactly what the macros are. For a little breakdown when it comes to protein, most of us think of meats. That is one of your best source of proteins, whether it's chicken, beef, turkey. Then you got fish, you got beans, you have different types of protein. A lot of people know about protein powders and protein shakes, protein bars, a lot of different things around protein. Protein is one of the more important macronutrients that we need to focus on when it comes to losing weight. Now, carbs, most of the time when we think of carbs, we think of bread and pasta, and those are my two favorite carbs. But when it comes down to actually thinking about carbs, there are carbs in a lot of different things, and there are two types of carbs. We have simple carbs and complex carbs. The easy way to remember this is the simple carbs are going to break down fast, and they are going to be the better carbs for us, really good for before a workout, before you're going on a run. These are going to be found in fruits and vegetables mainly. And then the complex carbs, those are going to be what you find in your bread and your pasta. When it comes to fat, that's going to be found in butters, oils, in fat meats. So for me, I like to eat grass-fed beef instead of normal grocery store grain-fed beef, and the fat content is going to be extremely different. Now, depending on what you're eating, there is going to be a diverse amount of different macronutrients. So how do we track them, and how do we know exactly what we need? Well, first off, how do you know what you need? The first thing that you want to focus on is your protein. If you're focusing on losing weight, protein is going to be the most important thing that you can do to add to your body to make sure that you keep muscle definition and lose body fat. If you're not having enough protein, you are going to lose muscle on your journey, and nobody wants that. We want the number on the scale to go down, but we still want to keep muscle on our body. So protein, the best tip I've learned for protein is choose your goal weight, and you want to eat that amount of grams of protein on a daily basis. Now, when it comes to carbs and fat, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult, but it can be personalized to you. The whole point of losing weight is we need to be in a calorie deficit. And a lot of where the calorie deficit is going to come from is by balancing out your carbs and your fats so that they are a proper amount that allows your calories to be low enough. Now, to exactly find the carbs and fats, there's a lot of different ways to find it out. My personal favorite is to use an app. I'll put an app down in the comment or down in the description below. The app that I use is $13 a month, and you get a real person who is a certified nutritionist that will help you master your macros and allow you to get dialed in. One of the things that I thought when I was dieting the first time is I thought that you had to stick to the same diet plan, and that is not exactly true. Your macros can fluctuate up and down as you go through your journey, so having a professional alongside you to help you dial those in is huge. Now, how do we go about tracking our macros? There's really two ways. There's the old school way. And I already told you that you can find these macros on the label on your food. So on the label on your food, it's going to give you the protein in grams, it's going to give you the fat in grams, it's going to give you the carbohydrates in grams. So all you have to do is grab a piece of paper, write all that down, and track it throughout the day. Now, I don't really know anybody who does that. What most of us do is we use apps, and these apps are not only going to allow us to maybe scan a barcode to instantly transfer over that information, or if it's something like chicken, apples, bananas, something that doesn't have an exact breakdown on the label, you can search them and it'll automatically plug the information in for you. So when it comes down to tracking your macros, the biggest thing is to know exactly what your goals are and then to pre-track the food before you put it in your mouth. I had this struggle, and almost everybody I talk to that starts off tracking their macros messes this part up. So do not make this mistake. You want to make sure that you put your macros into your app or on a piece of paper before you take the first bite. Because if you have a goal that you want to go obtain and you don't put your macros down on paper or in the app first, and you just go eat, you're going to get to the end of that meal, start plugging things in and be like, whoa, I was way off. So if you want to stay locked in on your macros, not only do you want to make sure you know what you're eating, you want to know how much you're eating. So that's where you should use a food scale to measure out the actual weight of your food and then plug it into your app. Now, I know this is sounding like a lot and you're like, Chance, I got to do all this to just figure out how to lose weight. The answer is yes. And the truth is, once I started doing this, about the first week or two is pretty difficult. But after you get past that first 2 weeks, you really get into a habit and a routine. And now I can track my macros in less than 2 minutes a meal. So this is something that you can add to your routine on a daily basis, and when you hit these macros consistently, you can get closer to your goals and you can actually lose the weight. I'm not at the body weight that I want to be yet, but I've lost over 75 pounds, and the massive change for me is when I started tracking my macros. If you want to use the same exact app that I use, go down below in the descriptions. It's less than 50 cents a day, and you can have a nutritionist help you work on this, get your macros dialed in so you can see the results you want.